working together is gonna be legend. Wait for it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 30 of Zero Life. My name is Barrett Courtney. I am your host this week. Sean has still not recovered from all of the chickens he was mauled by from last week. So this week, I have another special guest, Mr. Danny Juarez.
Ohayou gozaimasu.
From Las Vegas. What's up, Danny? How you doing?
Good, dude. Good. A little tired, but good. We just ate breakfast. So
yeah, we just ate some breakfast. We were playing the Destiny raid for 7 hours straight last night. And we'll talk about that a little later on in the show. But Danny, what's up, man? How you doing?
Good, man. Good. It's obviously I'm here now. I'm living in San Francisco. Made the big move.
Yeah.
Staying on your guys' couch. Hopefully this weekend we'll have an apartment down.
Yeah.
So
you guys are going somewhere later today to check out an apartment.
Yeah, maybe this just might be the one. But like, you know what? Here you go. Here's the money.
You're ready to settle down. You know, you're not looking to date around at all these like couches and stuff. You're looking to settle down and just date.
I'm 25. I dated a lot of couches in my day, and I'm ready to pick the one, you know?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, this is Zero Life. It's a weekly podcast where we talk about nerdy culture, pop culture, and all that good stuff every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Right here on youtube.com/ZeroLife and soundcloud.com/ZeroLifeShow and all the podcast services that you can think of except Spotify. We're trying to get that. We're trying to get
certified.
Yeah.
Isn't SoundCloud going bankrupt or something like that?
God, I hope not, because that's where our RSS feed is. That's where we feed everything, and I don't want to pay to like have an RSS feed.
Yeah, I feel that.
Because like SoundCloud makes it easy, so it's like
when I used to
complicated.
When we had my podcast, it was like SoundCloud was easier, and then we tried to get certified by Apple, and there are so many fucking jumps and leaps you have to go through. Where I'm just like, I don't want to deal with this.
Well, the last time we podcasted together, Danny. First, let's explain like who you are. You're a member, community member of Kind of Funny. That's how we met.
Yeah.
And you've sort of like jumped around on a bunch of like our podcasts and stuff.
Yeah, a bunch of our friendly communities. Honestly, I don't know why people like me.
You're just sort of like a little dude, you know?
Yeah, I'm the dude.
We got an audience member in the background, Griffin, who's also out here looking for an apartment. He just shook his head no that you're not a likable dude.
Yeah. Even though he's like been attached to me since he was 14.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. You have a good energy about you. Like you always like. I remember like the first couple of times we met, you just seemed like the type of dude who's just trying to have fun and not trying to like start shit.
Yeah, I'm just trying to
trying to hang out.
I'm just trying to hang out, make friends, you know.
Yeah,
you know,
and
do my
That
thing.
about
you. It's been a weird like run because I had like 2 podcasts that I was doing here and there and a couple things, and obviously they kind of fell through with people and life.
Yeah,
and
life
happens.
So
I was like, I kind of just want to do my own thing, and I'll figure it out eventually what I'm going to do. But so far, I just kind of came with personality in the community, and then with our friends' podcasts and stuff.
Yeah. Sort of like traveling around and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And now you're traveled here to San Francisco, which I'm very excited about. You just did this move. You've been staying with us for the last week.
Yeah.
By the time you guys are watching this, hopefully Danny is the guy who got to go to Greggy Industries.
Dude, I haven't even made a video, but I'm gonna get it. I'm just gonna show up. I'm just gonna come in and walk in my room. What's up, Greg? I'm here to do your PSN for you.
Just sneak in with Andy.
Yeah.
Just like come into the back. Just like hide behind him.
Walk in. It's me, Andy. Dude, I shaved my face.
Yeah, you guys look close enough to pull that off.
Yeah.
So. The first thing I want to talk about for the show, and this is going to be a little different from how I do special guest episodes, because mainly I do like an interview with a special guest. I've already done that with you, but on a different show called Talking Shit, which no longer exists. And mine
was the last episode.
You were the last episode, so it's actually very fitting. This is the last episode of Zero Life.
Goodbye, everybody.
So yeah, that was the last time we podcasted together, and we sort of did that for that episode and whatnot. So Yeah, it's cool to finally be able to podcast with you after a very long time.
I know. As in what? Like
I think it's almost exactly a year.
Yeah.
In October was like when that all happened. So the first thing I want to talk about, so it's going to be a sort of normal episode. We know Danny. Danny's the fucking homie. And our main topic of the show is mainly going to be the Destiny raid.
Yeah.
So the first thing I just want to talk about, just for a quick second, is baseball.
Okay.
Just for a hot second. This morning, I'm going through Facebook, and I see the Cleveland Indians post like we're the leader of the AL Central and all of this stuff, and it's like a hype video, like Tim Geddes level of just like I cried watching this video because here's the thing,
it's the pride in you, dude. It's
the Cleveland in me, and it's like the fact that I grew up when Cleveland sucked at everything, you know. And it was like the Cavs were the first thing that made Cleveland cool with sports, and then like the Tribe sort of came back with baseball in 2007 and then sort of dropped off, and now we're back in like our prime time. The Browns will always suck. Never root for the Browns. The Browns actually fucked up last year. They almost lost every season game. But they won the last one. But we were planning on having this like fake Super Bowl party where they lose every game. Yeah. But they fucked it up. They couldn't even lose right.
So then we were even more mad at them.
Yeah. So the fucking Browns, man. So I was watching that. I'm so excited that we're actually going to the playoffs, and I'm feeling confident about the playoffs and all that stuff. I was really bummed out when we lost in extra innings in the 7th fucking game last year. But I'm glad it was to the Cubs and not anybody shitty like I don't know.
The Yankees.
Well, we can't even do the Yankees because they're in the same American
division.
League and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, screw the Yankees.
Yeah.
The Yankees are bad.
Overrated.
I just wanted to talk about that for a quick second, just because I got very emotional this morning.
Well, yeah, it's your hometown. It's your it's the pride.
Boys.
It's your boys. It's in there. Growing up in Vegas, we didn't have any of that because we didn't have a sports team until
but
now.
Now you have the Raiders,
and I left because I don't want to be there for that.
Yeah, that's the only reason why you left.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
So the next thing I want to talk about, just really quickly, just because I only really played the first hour of it, is Dishonored: Death of the Outsider.
Yeah, I want to hear about it.
So this game, it feels like a more streamlined version of Dishonored 2, where like in the main Dishonored games, you have to sort of like do all these like skill trees and powering up certain like abilities and whatnot. This one, you have to like go through the first mission without any abilities, and then after that, you just get like you have 4 abilities and that's it. You don't have to like upgrade anything.
Because so like 1 and 2, you're still dealing with the outsider of him like telling you guys what to do and giving you the powers.
Exactly.
So in this one, you're not playing as you're killing the outsider. So like you're not getting powers from him for you to like upgrade.
Exactly. I think you've already had these powers. I'm not too sure how they explained it. I think what it is so this one takes place after Dishonored 2. You're playing as the I forget her name. I'm really bad with the names in Dishonored. I just like that like
I just know Corvo and Emily.
I know Corvo and Emily, and it's like outside of that, it's like I don't know. You're a dude, and you're either good or you're bad, and that's pretty much it.
I'm either gonna kill you or I'm gonna let you get by.
I just really like the gameplay of that game and sort of the level design of that game, and that's the only game I think about level design.
Does the level design from 2 carry over in this so far in the first hour?
Yeah, just in the first level where you have the powers. It was just that fascinating thing where I was able to, and I did a video of this for IGN, there's a certain segment where I was able to basically ghost my way through the entire thing. And it's stuff like that where I love finding the little secrets of like, how can I get through this without like having to deal with any fighting or any of this. And it brought me back to like how much I love Dishonored 2. And so it's like very early impressions. The story seems like Dowd, from Dishonored 1, or one of the DLCs from Dishonored 1 is back, and he was like the person you're playing as like her mentor basically, and I think that's where she gets the powers from because he's also been to the void or whatever. So I think that's where she got the powers from because like the first mission is breaking him out. So I think like once he's broken out, he probably transfers powers over to you.
Still playing through the first one because I bought the definitive edition because I wanted to play that and all the DLC. But like when I was playing it, like my roommate would walk by because he'd he'd beaten it, and he was like, "You're playing it wrong." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You're not stealthy enough." I was like, "Dude, I'm trying. I'm like doing the stealth jump and sneaking places, but like I'd open a door and a guy's like, "Oh, he's here," and I'm like, "Fuck, all right, time to kill everybody."
I think Dishonored 1 definitely was a little rough around the edges of being able to balance like the sneaking through and being able to fight. Like that's why Sean like didn't really like the first Dishonored, because he's saying like it has like a really fun like battle system, but like the game feels like it's punishing you whenever you use it.
Well, I think the time of it coming out was like, because it was right around after BioShock 2 came out, I want to say.
Dishonored 1 I want to say came out, man, I want to say it was a little bit before BioShock Infinite.
Okay, so it's definitely after 2, because they were like, the system of it is trying to be like BioShock in a way of like the look and the feel and the controls, like the first person. So I think they were in the first one, they were just trying to not nail it down, but get a feel for it. And then I think obviously what people said,
I honestly think like the combat in Dishonored 1 and a little bit, I feel like they make it feel a little better in Dishonored 2.
Yeah,
like,
it
feels like the melee of BioShock, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they clean it up a little more in 2, where like you don't feel as like you can go through full chaos and feel good about yourself in 2. So and with this one, like I try to go like what makes sense for the character, you know, like Dishonored 1, I sort of went back and forth because I feel like Corvo, like
Corvo had this sense of revenge.
He had this sense of revenge, and so I think like there were parts like I think he would have like, I'm gonna kill this fucking person. Who gives a fuck about the rat plague? Yeah, you know. And then with Dishonored 2 with Emily, like I did the Emily playthrough. I didn't do the Corvo playthrough. Like with Emily, I was like, I don't think she's trying to kill anyone. You know, it's like she's just trying to get her kingdom back, and if she's spending the entire time killing the entire kingdom, like she's,
then there's no one for her to
rule exactly. And so with this DLC, I'm not too sure like how I'm feeling yet, because this girl, she's the woman who helps you out in Dishonored 2. She like owns the boat. It's like called the Whale's Revenge or something. Sorry, all the lore in Dishonored.
Yeah,
there's just so much. Yeah, it's like hard to keep
that was
up.
saying was like in Dishonored 1, every time I picked up like a letter or a book, I read through it, and I'm like, so like I was like, what is the story of this world? Like I get the plague and I get what I'm doing, but how did the world come to be this way? And what is the deal with whales and like the goo and everything?
Whale oil and all that stuff. How's whale oil used to power electricity? It's crazy.
Yeah.
But this one, I feel as good about it as Dishonored 2 so far. I'm only like, I think what was said was that there's a total of 5 missions, but it's still like
interesting.
But at the in Dishonored 2, I think there's a total of like 10. Yeah. So you're still getting like a pretty meaty, especially like how meticulous you play Dishonored, right?
Isn't it?
Like I look through everywhere. I retry stuff if like I get seen or stuff. So this is still gonna be like a 20, maybe like 15 to 20 hour playthrough.
Isn't it only a $30 game, or is it $40?
It is only $30. Okay, so there you go.
That's fine.
But for me, I think like this is like the weird situation with the Lost Legacy, right? Where it was like first it was DLC, but now it's like sort of its own thing. So for me, I count it as like its own separate game. Yeah. So when it comes to Game of the Year, Dishonored, Death of the Outsider may have a shot. Yeah. Who knows? It may have a shot at the title.
Because it's like last year people were saying like, oh man, the Witcher DLC is a whole separate game, but it's because of how big it was. Yeah. But it was still technically DLC when they could have sold it as a separate game like they've done. But I mean, props to them. So I like that some companies are doing this where like it's not DLC, it's a whole separate game because we want to give you a full campaign. It's like a
Star Wars story. You know? It's like a spin-off sort of thing where it's like they get to tell a cool little story and not have to like recreate an entire another engine for like future like trying to like do more graphical shit and all that stuff.
Also, shout out to Bethesda just as a publisher in general, like how many games they've been pushing out in the past like 3 years.
And I feel bad specifically for like Arcane with this whole like, I don't think Dishonored 2 did super well with sales. Yeah, but I think, and also I think Prey got a lot of flack as well. Yeah, and I think like because like Bethesda did the whole like reviewers don't get early access to games,
and that gave a sour taste to those reviewers.
And that gave sour taste to reviewers, and I think it made like this weird sort of thing where it's like right before. That happened right before Dishonored 2. So, like, Dishonored 2 didn't go out to, like, big reviewers until, like, the day of or, like, the night before or whatever, depending on where, like, region unlocked and all that stuff.
And in the industry, like, stuff like that's crazy because it's like, all right, it's out. You have, like, 24 hours to beat this game and have a review.
No, it's not that, like, intensive, but it's still, like, we still have an audience. We want to try to, like, get our opinions out there. And then, like, the thing with the whole the whole thing with Prey, right?
Yeah.
Like the thing where I think the reviewer for IGN, Dan Stapleton, he was having trouble with the PC, where he was in his 40th hour near the end and his save data corrupted. And that's one of those things where I think it would have like benefited Bethesda to send early copies. So this is something like a reviewer could have found before the game launched, right? Like Dan found that maybe around the same time that like other people who were actually playing the game on PC found it, and so that's why Prey got a lot of flack on PC specifically, which I was bummed out about, because like I do like that game. I don't think I loved it as much as I wanted to, but I still loved the style of that game.
Yeah, I finally bought it. It's on my list of games to get to this year, and I think for me it's because I have this weird nostalgia for the original Prey, and like when Prey 2 was supposed to originally come out, like I was so excited for it, and like all
the original Prey was super different, right? That was like a really weird.
You played as like this Indian guy, and like when you get kidnapped by the aliens, the whole point of that game was about like the gravity. So like some rooms you'd go into and like there'd be like an activation for this rail, and you would flip upside down, and like enemies would be down here or on the walls.
So it was like a puzzle game almost, or
a little bit. There was some platforming here and there.
All right.
But the story was kind of like whatever. But I think it was a cult hit. And then when they had announced Prey 2, they were like, this world is completely different, and you're the same character, but you're now used to it. It was like a Blade Runner. Like you're in this world, there are aliens, and now you're a bounty hunter. And like all the cool mechanics of like you hunting targets, and like you either have the choice to turn for bounties or kill them. And I think it came from like games like Stranger's Wrath in a way that was like you it's a first person shooter, and you decide how you want to like take out your bounties in this world and stuff. Where a lot of games are trying to do that now in a way of like hitting like how what's on Days Gone, how like they show in the demos like you can go to this place and whatever they're called, walkers will be here, and you can set up traps and
like you turn like walkers and enemies against each other and all that stuff. Yeah, that's cool. That's very ambitious, especially for that time, because didn't Prey 2 like originally get announced back in like 2009 or 10 or something. Yeah,
and like the graphics for it looked way more further than what the Xbox 360 could have pushed out, because it's supposed to be an exclusive back then.
Oh, interesting. I really liked what they did with this one, but I think eventually it felt a little tired. Just like, I don't know. It didn't like, I was very interested in like the world and like what was going on in the first couple hours. And then I think like I got one of the secret like early endings that like technically like beating the game and stuff. But
I don't like that was like when I found out about that there are secret endings. So I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. I'd rather just have just one concrete ending.
There is a concrete ending. That was more of like do you remember in Arkham City where like if you're playing as Catwoman, you turn right and like you leave Arkham, it's like this whole like silly like sort of like this is what could have happened ending.
It's the same thing like Nier Automata does that. Nier Automata has 27 endings.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, the first 5 are like the main ending in general. But like there are things you can do, like there's this boss fight that happens, and if you walk the opposite direction, like they're all taken over by robots, and it's because of your fault. Ending W.
But yeah, Dishonored, Death of the Outsider, really fucking good. I'm really liking it.
I'm gonna get to it probably next year, to be honest.
Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is like we'll talk about the raid in a little bit, but we're gonna beat the raid for Destiny, and then I think I'm gonna take a break from Destiny, like not like a sort of break where I'm not gonna be as intense about like how much we've been playing. There are 2 nights in a row where we sit up until 3 in the morning playing.
I mean, we'll talk about it, because I think I'm gonna take a break too, and I'll play here and there, because I've gotten to the point where I love Destiny too. Yeah. But it's not the way that like I would love Destiny 1, where it's like I have to get to the highest light level as soon as possible. Like as soon as raid's over,
I feel like I'm
okay for a while.
I'm a solid like raid level right now, and like that's what I'm trying to get through, and like when I'm done with that, I honestly like I want to beat Death of the Outsider, and then I want to play the first 2 Dishonoreds again, just because I love them so much. I have Lost Legacy. I need to get to that. I need to finish Persona 5. I don't know if I've talked about Lost Legacy on this podcast. It's really good. I remember when they announced it was Chloe and Nadine, and I was like, "That's an interesting like duo." Well, I remember us being at PSX, the end of the story, and we saw we saw the opening scene of the trailer or whatever, and we were both like, "It was you, me, and Alex, and we were just standing there like, is this Tomb Raider? I can't tell." Yeah, like that first intro bit, like she's not talking or anything. Like they took out a lot of stuff from like the intro to like hide like what it was, and we legit thought it was Tomb Raider, and then your girl Nadine comes out and she starts punching people, and then Chloe reveals herself. And I was crying because Chloe's my girl. But by the end of this story, like, you definitely understand like why these two are together and like why they put these two characters together. And I think it's really cool.
For some reason, I thought it took place before 4, but then I was like, no, it's after 4. And I was like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Like, I thought it was going to be like a lead up to like how Nadine got to 4. But yeah, I think they do like that story is like the gameplay. It's like more Uncharted 4. Yeah. So if you're into it, it's a tighter Uncharted 4.
And that's the thing is like I don't know. A lot of people were expecting. People were like, oh, there's nothing new about it. Like no new mechanics. And I was like, yeah, they made it in a year. Yeah. Yeah. I was like, what do you like? They turned it around in a year. Like I don't think for them to like make another full Uncharted game and add new mechanics to it. Yeah. And you got to give them a few years.
And I think my playthrough was probably 7 hours. And so it's like a pretty like it's almost as long as the first one. You know. Okay, so it's like I think it's really impressive what they did, and like I never played Uncharted 4 for the gameplay mechanics or anything. It had a cool fucking Indiana Jones story, and now that like the two guys, who's the
Sully and
the director of like the Last
Bruce
of Us,
and
Bruce.
Why can't we think of his name?
Well, Bruce isn't at Naughty Dog anymore.
He's not.
Sad about that. Neil Druckmann. Now that it's Neil Druckmann, it's not just Indiana Jones stories. It's like really deep, personal, like going depth of like the human psyche stories. It's like, oh shit, getting me the feels, Nathan.
Well, and
Drake.
I think it comes from like what they did with The Last of Us, and they realized that's such a human story that they were like, we should like
sort of try to
do that with Nathan Drake. Like not as much as people didn't obviously relate to him. No one, I don't think anyone can really relate to him as like his adventures, but as a character, his like emotions and stuff. Yeah. And I think it stems from anybody who played Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, and so in 4 they were like, let's make this some more, like not family oriented, but like the brother and his relationship. Yeah. And it's just like let's make people actually care about all of them as a family. Yeah. Yeah.
Uncharted, pretty dope. Yeah. Dishonored, pretty dope. But what I want to talk about next, not Destiny. Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Dude, we got to play the beta, the closed beta yesterday.
Yeah, we did.
So,
I've been so hyped about this game since it was announced at E3. Like, I remember when I saw it in the Xbox. One, I was confused. I was like, Xbox? Yeah. But then I was like, dude, Arc Systems making this. I was like, this is gonna be like the best fucking Dragon Ball Z game since Budokai. I was like, I've been just fiending for this. Mm-hmm. And so every event I went to, I've always like, is Dragon Ball Fighter Z here? All right, I'm gonna go find it. I'm gonna go play that. Like it just feels so good. Like even yesterday at the closed beta, even though we did get a couple asses handed to us.
Yeah, so like the closed beta, like there wasn't any like sort of like training mode or like tutorial or like local like versus multiplayer. Like you just could only play online against people who are like super into the fighting genre and like are like fucking already like learning all of the combos, all of the super moves and special moves, and I'm in here just like, what's this the light attack? I don't know. I've been playing Injustice 2 for too long.
Well, and the thing is, it's so weird how leaving on social media how strict they were about giving beta codes. Because like most games that give beta codes, it's like pre-order the game, we'll get you one, or like retweet this and we'll send it to you. They were super like they were even denying press, and like they're like, sorry, we're very strict about our codes for this game.
It's very interesting. Yeah, I wonder why that is. It seems like this is the type of game that you would want to share out with more people just because of just already the positive reaction this game has.
And I mean, it's crazy how many people are excited
or
for this.
it could be like an exclusive thing to try to build hype for it.
That's true,
like, oh, we're being a little exclusive, and then like once it releases, everybody's finally like trying to rush to get it.
I think everyone's been so excited about this game on the internet, not only because it's Dragon Ball Z and it's a fighter, it's just like us as kids who grew up with Toonami and Dragon Ball Z in our lives was like this nostalgia thing's like ready to hit us, and like I think also people have been feeding for a good Dragon Ball Z game since the Budokai series has ended, because the Z Fighters or whatever that came up before like this was not, or Xenoverse, like have not been good.
Yeah, I was never like into Dragon Ball growing up. That's more like Sean's thing. Yeah. So like playing it, I was like, oh, this is cool. Like it looks like the anime and all this stuff. Like and it looks pretty. Like when you're doing like the special moves. Yeah. And all that stuff, and like when you knock someone into a building, like it's so like the animations look so pretty,
and it's crazy. This team has taken a lot of work to build this game. Like they've come out and said like, yeah, we've read that, like we've taken pages from the manga and like put those exact art things as like animations.
That's crazy.
So I was like, they're really dedicated to like the fans, and just they want to make a solid Dragon Ball Z fighting game for people.
Yeah, that's
and
really cool.
And it's kind of crazy, not crazy, but when it got announced, how the fighting game world, like, of pro fighters have, like, taken to it, like, this is the next big fighter and like, it's gonna be an Evo and shit.
Yeah. For me, like, I didn't feel the nostalgia. So, like, when I was playing it yesterday, I was like, damn, I would want like a Naruto game like this.
Oh yeah,
I would want it wouldn't sort of make as much sense, but like a Bobo game like this, and also a what's Laffy from? Like
Little Luffy, One Piece.
One Piece.
Yeah, I would love a One Piece game.
One Piece
like
fighting
this.
game would be dope as hell. I feel wasn't there one at one point?
No, there's been treasure trackers. It's like a party game, or like a four. Like,
I'm looking this up.
Multiplayer.
I'm looking it up.
I think I have it. Or Pirate Fighters, yeah, but it's kind of like Power Stone. Yeah, but.
Jeez.
There is a Dinosaur one, Pirate Warriors 1 and 2. Those, but like they're not a fighting game. That's like I want something. But the Naruto games,
yeah, there was One Piece Grand Battle Rush. Yeah. So yeah, this was like sort of their fighting game back to like the PS2 era.
Yeah. For me though, like I would love to see a Naruto game, but I will say Cyber Connect. All the Ultimate Ninja games are fucking awesome.
So like the 360 era.
Like there was Ultimate Ninja Storm 1 and 2, and I think 3.
I just know a friend of mine had 4.
Okay,
is what we're getting from the audience.
Yeah, 4 came out to the PS 4 and Xbox One.
Okay,
the last one.
I just remember my friend Jack had a Naruto game like on 360, and it was cool. I'm not super into fighting games where it's like the whole like 3D sort of like circular arena. That's why like I wasn't super into Pokken Tournament and all that stuff when it came to Wii U when I did like the demo. And that's why I didn't try this demo for the Switch. Nato Johnson, who was trying to get everybody.
I downloaded it. I just haven't played it.
Yeah, good boy.
Yeah,
just don't play it. But Dragon Ball, I'm really digging it. It's one of those things where, like, I know Sean was really excited for this game because he really loves Dragon Ball. He's like, if I don't get into this game, I'm never going to get into any fighting games that isn't Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
And this one was even, like, it feels a little more old school with the mechanics.
Yeah.
But also still has, like, a very interesting, like, meta to it that, like, I couldn't really get my head around in the first we did like the open like 2 hours like or 3 hours from 10 to 1.
Yeah.
And in those 3 hours, like by the end, I was sort of figuring it out. So
yeah, towards the middle, I was figuring it out with certain like Gohan. I was learning how to do his combos.
OP right now
and doing like his moves. But a lot of people, like from what I'm reading, they're saying like characters like Gohan and Trunks, they're much faster because they're smaller and the little more petite, but they have more powerful Kai Blast. Where like characters like Vegeta and Goku do more physical damage because of just who they are as characters, and that they have good mix-ups. But then characters like Android 16 and Boo take less damage because of how big they are, but they have they don't have stronger like mix-ups.
They're also slow,
but they're
like,
slower.
slow.
But because they're slower, when you get the combos going, they're doing more damage to you. Yeah.
That's really cool. That's interesting. I'm excited to play this. This is one of those. This is another game where I'm like, fuck, I want this on the Switch.
Oh, dude, yeah. Well, they even said it when it got announced. They had like put something out on their social media, like if you want it for the Switch, please let us know. And they like put out like this. Not a petition or a survey,
like
something
a poll.
Like let us know, and we'll try to see what we can do.
Okay.
And like, I mean, if games like Doom and Wolfenstein are able to be on the Switch, apparently.
Oh yeah, that's some news we have to talk about. Yeah, this week. We didn't even talk about.
Then a game like Dragon Ball FighterZ should be able to run on the Switch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a second. How do you feel about Doom and Wolfenstein 2 being?
That was like the biggest surprise to me because we all knew about Skyrim and I got to see it. Yeah. I got to see it run on GameStop X, which I was like, it looks just fine.
Yeah. It looks like Skyrim.
It's not the remaster version. When I talked to the person,
yes, it
is the original game with all the DLC.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
But yeah, when they
not
announced,
cool.
we'll see, whatever. Skyrim's one of those games I never got into that people.
Yeah, I don't really care. I don't care that much. I know like people like Zach Ryan who literally have bought Skyrim on every fucking console.
Yeah,
Zach.
Yeah, I know that Nick and Shauna have bought it on every time it's going to release, and I'm just like, no way.
Why? Yeah. Why do you do that to yourself?
I know. Stop playing old games. But when they announced Doom, I was like, oh okay. Like, all right. I need to see how it goes.
Yeah, and then when they announced Wolfenstein, not 1 but 2, you're like, oh shit, okay,
yeah,
all right. And they only showed like the screen, like the teaser poster or whatever. It was like. it's supposed to come next year, and you haven't shown anything. Well, we'll see how that goes.
And obviously, because they're gonna try.
Like, I'm rooting for you,
I know.
boys, but
it's because like they have to format it for the Switch, and like the weird part was for me is like they announced it now, obviously with Wolfenstein 2 coming so soon. So I think something happened in like the past month where like we can do this, but let's announce it, but we can't show anything because we're not ready.
Yeah, that's a pretty good assumption right there.
But yeah, that whole Nintendo like conference in general, or direct, was really good. It was kind of boring. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it did. Like, they gotta stop talking about it. Can we stop talking about the 3DS?
I know
in these directs. We were spending way too much time on these things.
Yeah,
and then what was it? Xenoblade that was like 15. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 or whatever. Or like 15 minutes of this big ass dragon island. Like, hello there.
Let me tell you about the world.
Let me tell you about the world, and now let me tell you about the fighting mechanics. This is a little boy who lives on me. That's not creepy. Oh, like that shit went on for like 10 minutes. I'm standing there like, why? Just show me Mario. Just announce a fucking like. Just show like new Metroid or something. show me anything else except this, because it's weird.
I think that's the thing is like there are fans who like I love the original Xenoblade Chronicles, and I didn't play X because I didn't have a Wii U.
Yeah.
So I think it was more so for those people who've like been fans of that game and that series. So
that's fair.
And I think people wanted people who've been wanting this game wanted that news of like, all right, who are the characters? What's the story? What's the world? Yeah. Is it a follow up from Xenoblade Chronicles? Which it isn't. It's just the same concept of like this blade, and there's multiple of them now apparently. And so people were like, I was hyped about it. I didn't care about learning about the mechanics. I was like, okay, the world's cool, and I like the characters. Yeah. That's all I needed to see.
And then went on a little long with like how everything works. And you're like, guys, we don't need a tutorial right now in this direct. Let's move on.
Damien Hatfield like posted a tweet like somewhere behind Xenoblade Chronicles 2's HUD is an actual game, because like there's so many things on screen going on.
That's good. That's a good tweet right there.
Yeah.
And then they showed off more Mario, but it was one of those funny things where it was like they were like, we don't want to ruin the entire game for you. We don't want to show you all the secrets. But then like they showed us like more of the game. Yeah. And it was like that weird, like, why ruin this for us?
I'm curious though how many worlds there are.
Like, and now, they said it was like, and there's like so like they've shown us I think like 6 or 7 worlds. Yeah. And it's like, and there's so many more. And it was like, like how many worlds are there, boys? Like, let's go.
And I'm just like, 7 worlds seems like more than enough for me in a Mario game, because we're used to like.
Yeah, we're used to 7 worlds. Yeah. That's usually like, or 8 worlds is like the first one. Like that set up that precedent. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see like how many they go with, and it'll be interesting to see if every world is as big as every other one. Like, it didn't seem. We saw the ice one, right? Yeah, and it didn't seem like a lot was going on in that one. Like granted, they only showed like 10 seconds of it, but like just him running through, it was like, I don't really see anything going on in this level. So it's like interesting. Yeah,
I played the demo at GameStop Expo, and it was it was the new Donk City.
Yeah, boy.
And like the whole point of that one is like for Pauline, you're supposed to get her band together to play a show. Yeah. So I did that because I think we only had like an hour on the or maybe it was like 30 minutes on the timer to play. But like there was still a lot in like as big as. Or like as big as it was, like there was still so much going on, and like when they showed on this time, like here's a list of like you'll figure out when you have your list of all the moon shards you're gonna find. I was like, there's a lot in every place. I only found like probably 15 of them.
Hell yes, boys! I'm so excited. Mario's one of those games like that has a good chance of knocking off Zelda for my game.
Yeah, and that's what I've been saying. Is like if any game's gonna knock it out for me, it's gonna be Mario Odyssey.
So let's talk about Mario's nipples.
Dude, they're nice.
How do we feel about Mario's nipples? Don't body shame, all right?
Yeah, he's hot.
He's trying to be a good boy, trying to enjoy time on the beach and swim and surf. Who knows what he's trying to do?
Did you know he's not a plumber anymore?
Yeah, I did know that. And that's totally fine. He's an entrepreneur. Yeah. You know, he's just doing all the things he loves, you know. He started from the bottom. Now he's here. So Mario's nipples Not that bad. I don't know why people are making it. There's some things that I was tweeting out that was really funny, like if you close in on Mario's nipple, this is what it looks like. There's this mustache like underneath the nipple. It's like,
there have been so many funny tweets about that since like Nintendo knows how to sell a system this year, and it's like a picture of like naked Link, Mario's nipples, and Zelda's butt,
and then the girl from the fighting game.
Oh, from Arms.
Yeah. Like her butt. And it's like, yep, Nintendo's marketing.
Yeah.
They're really going for something here.
Exactly.
But yeah, I really like what they've showed of Mario. I wish it was interesting when they were talking about the third parties, right? It came out that Direct happened right before 2K18 was released. I think 2K18 released this last Friday, or maybe Monday. I forget. But it was funny that like they're like, and we're excited to have all these third parties and show like these beautiful graphics, and it was 2K18 on the screen for the Direct, and it was like, yeah, that doesn't look great.
Yeah,
doesn't look great.
But at the same time, people were like, oh, we kind of saw that coming.
Yeah. I've played a little bit of 2K18 on the Switch, and I did the graphics comparison for it on IGN if you want to check that out. It's on YouTube and the IGN site and whatnot. And so the interesting thing is, like, I made sure, like, in the description, I was like, this is captured in docked mode. Because I think it's sort of the same situation as Mario Kart almost, and even Zelda, right? When you put Zelda in docked mode, it's definitely, like, you're really, like, there's choppiness to it. There's, like, obvious 30 frames per second, and then when you take Zelda out, like, it feels smoother, it runs smoother. And like with Mario Kart 8, it's like when you get to, I think it's when you play with 4 players on the big screen, then it's like 30 and it's bad. Because
we've done it on Griffin's TV. He's like a 65 inch, 74
inch.
And we played like 4-player on screen, and I'm like, ooh, this
it's rough.
This is rough.
And so, but when you take Mario Kart out, it's fine. It's 60. And
it looks
so
perfect.
It's the same situation for like NBA. So it's like, if you're looking at that and you're like, oh man, that 30 frames per second like looks like real rough on NBA. It's like, but when you take it out and you're docked mode and you're playing a full NBA 2K18, even though it doesn't look as beautiful as a PS4 Pro on a 4K TV, it's still like this full basketball game on the go, which is really cool, you know, and it does like feel way smoother on
and like
handheld.
And from what you said like, there's no modes missing. They're all
it's like it's all there, and they even have like they added like the local play mode. So if you're not connected to the internet but you want to still like play with someone else who has a Switch and shit, you can do that. And that's really cool. Like,
which is cool because a lot of people are talking about the new WWE game that's coming out this year. They were saying like most like when it used to come out for Vita before, they're like there were modes missing because it can't handle it, and then people were like no one knows for sure what's going to happen.
And is WWE coming to Switch?
Yeah, it's coming to Switch this year,
and that's another 2K property.
Yeah.
So the hopeful is like since like they didn't take anything away for NBA, like maybe that's like a sort of setting up like, hey, we're not going to take anything away from WWE. So that's exciting for those fans there.
Yeah.
Also on the Switch was they talked about Octopath Traveler on
the demos out right
the demo's out. I haven't touched it.
I haven't either.
But I hear people like it. I hear there's some weird problematic sex things when you play the girl version, where there's some weird seducing things that you got to do, and it's
not good.
It's like that's a little weird. It's a little, but it's not even just weird. It's like interesting for Nintendo. Where it's like, and it was also interesting for Nintendo Direct to have like a Nazi symbol. That's really weird. Like what? We're in a weird age, Danny.
Yeah, and I think it's a weird way that like people never saw this way of Nintendo. And it probably started from like when Bayonetta came out to like the Wii U, and like there were rumors and speculations of Bayonetta 3 coming to Switch, and
we'll get it one day,
maybe. And so
just like how we'll one day maybe get Metroid.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of people said when the Switch was coming out that they were like, Nintendo needs to grow up and needs to evolve. Like it is a kid system, but
I think they're slowly trying to do that.
And if they want to like catch up in the like this generation of systems, they've got to, and like they've banned their parties, and they're going to do these games.
And I think they're catching up well, and like especially for this console only being out since March, I think like they're on a really good track for like not just selling units of the console, but like just having so much support like on there, and like anything that comes out, like most of the people buy. Right?
And that's the thing, is like really cool. My Switch is like it's not only like my main system for the AAA titles for Nintendo, but it's my indie system. Like every indie game that I've like wanted has come out to it.
I refuse to play ukulele until it comes to
I'm
Switch.
waiting for me too. I'm waiting for it to come to Switch.
So I'll be playing ukulele in 2020.
Same thing with Stardew Valley.
Yeah. Stardew Valley is never going to happen. It's never going to happen, boys. So the Nintendo Directs, it was all right.
Yeah.
It was all right. There's some lags there. It was like, it's better than the Apple conference. The Apple conference was trash. Oof. Anyway, Danny, let's talk about this raid, the Leviathan raid, the first raid for Destiny 2. So we still haven't really talked about our like main thoughts and feelings on Destiny 2 as a whole on the show, and that's because I've been waiting for the boy Sean Pitts to come home to have that conversation with. So we should be having that conversation next week. So this week is just about going through the raid. So if you're watching this and you haven't gone through the raid and you're trying to do blind stuff, like,
turn it off now.
We're gonna be talking full spoilers here. We're not gonna be keeping stuff vague. So just assume that, like, you know, we know the know of Destiny, and we're gonna assume that you know the know of Destiny, that you know what we're gonna be talking about here. So from here on out, Destiny talk. So this was my very first raid ever.
I know. I want to hear about it. It's so exciting because, like, I remember my first raid on Destiny 1, and it was Crota, which Crota is now kind of like, people make fun of it because it's like, you can solo that raid, which you can. But, like, this is, like, for you because they've from the build-up of Destiny 1 of, like, Vogue to Crota to Court of Oryx to the Siva raid, like, they have just increasingly gotten better and, like, learned how to make raids better mechanically and smarter for people. So, like, you've gotten to the point where you got to play your first raid. It's like one of the like, people are saying this is the best raid because it's so smart with the mechanics, and it is actually like a team oriented raid now.
So I was telling you this last night, like, this is probably the most intense, like, cooperative video game thing I've ever done ever. You know, like, I thought Overcooked was it, but after playing so many games of Overcooked with wind up people, and I'm not saying like whiny people, I'm saying like they've been drinking wine for a couple hours, like, it doesn't feel intense anymore. It's just like, oh, I'm just playing with a couple of drunk people. So, like, but this was the one where it's just like, holy shit, this is intense and crazy, but so, like, but when we nail it, it's so satisfying. Like, I'm just gonna say I've gotten really shitty gear drops so far from this raid.
I think we all have.
Nothing has leveled me up.
I got the one engram that got me boots, and that was it.
So, but, like, it wasn't even that was the reward. It was just the feeling of, like, completing it, and, like, that's where you have, like, not just, like, for Destiny, but that's like when you have, like, a good game. You know, it's like, we finally solved this, and we finally, like, got through it. I really like that. It reminds me a lot of Aaron's talk about Zelda. Aaron from Game Grumps, where he's like, you know, it's not satisfying to solve like a puzzle in Zelda because you opened the door. It's satisfying because the puzzle itself is satisfying. And that's what I felt like all last night was like. I feel like the longest room was the first one because it was my first raid, and I was still trying to, like, wrap my head around these mechanics. I also didn't think I had the best gear for clearing ads. And that was like, and that was definitely an ad heavy, like,
that bathroom is like, there's so much going on in that first.
But we still got through it in like an hour and a half. And then, like, after that was the first one where it was like, holy shit, this is awesome. And, like, even, like, just the first moment of walking up to the palace, I took a screenshot and put it up on Twitter just because it's like, it was so majestic and cool. I was like, I'm down to fucking party with these boys. Let's go. Because you go up and they're, like, not even attacking you. They're like, yeah, just come in. And then we were playing, I think, with Nick Cascarella last night, and he decided to throw a grenade. Or someone hit a fucking enemy, and then they all started shooting. Oh, no, it was Griffin. Thanks, Griffin. Griffin was the one who told us, don't shoot these guys. They'll all attack you. And then Griffin ended up being the one who shot them. And then they all started attacking us. It reminded me of Arkham Asylum, where, like, when you go to, like, do the final Joker boss, and, like, you can walk through all the guys, like, clapping for you, but you could also just, like, go and
beat
fuck
the shit out of them.
So we went through that, but also shout out to Nick Cascarella, who's on the East Coast and stayed up till 4:30 in the morning to play this shit. I'm so sorry.
I know, dude. It's just, we were up so late, but I think it's funny because, like, when you have a good raid group like that, no one really cares. They all want to get through it together.
And so, like, and then the next room was the Pleasure Gardens, which is a very weird name. Who's being pleasured, and where are the actual gardens? That wasn't really a garden. That was like a forest.
It was
like a little mini forest. And that one was really cool. I liked the entire time I was thinking of, like, Destin, who was streaming the raid, like, right when it came out, and, like, all of these people who had to go in blind because there's no one else who, like, knew about it. I was thinking, like, how the fuck did these people figure this shit out? Like, how are you doing this? So, like, just, like, I made fun of Destiny players for all this raid shit when Destiny 1 was around, but, like, now I'm just like, I could never do what you guys do. So
Yeah.
props
And that's
to you
like
guys.
that's the funniest part with like you and people who just got into Destiny for the first time because they skipped one. It was like how much they love it and they're like, oh man, this is actually like really good.
But it's like one of those things where I gotta stop playing it because there's so many games coming out and like I still need to beat Mario plus Rabbids and all this stuff. So it's crazy. But the raid, it was one of those things where like I was really down in the dumps in the first room. So like when we beat the baths, right? That was the first room. Yeah. It was just like one of those like we took a break and we just like laid there for a bit and we were just like we needed a breather, and then coming back and then doing the pleasure gardens, which was like also like really cool. Like thankfully we had Griffin, who had gone through it already and like was telling us while like explaining to all this like I've timed everything out of like the distance of like where the dogs go and like how much time it takes from the dog to get from point A to point B and like all these secret things, and this is a hidey hole. We hide here when the two dogs are here, and when they turn around we run away from the hidey hole, go to this thing, get shot by a flower, and then run away from the flower as fast as we can, go back to the safe room and do it all over again. It was like fuck, all right. And it was
I feel like me and James had the easiest job. We just sat out with the stones like, all right, shoot the flower. All right, shoot the sniper.
I feel like that room actually, like people were saying before, like that room is the hardest room.
Yeah, that's the hardest room.
And like, but I feel like when you have a good team, like when you have at least one person like Griffin who knew exactly what the fuck he was doing, and then like just a solid team that like can listen to each other and talk to each other, like I think we were able to get through that room pretty easily. And
the funny part was, we were all worried about not doing enough damage to the dogs when you get like the buffs, and we did it. We were fine. It was our fourth or fifth try. Where we got up to almost 80 buff. Yeah. And so I think you one-shotted your dog. No, Griffin one-shotted his dog.
Griffin one-shotted his dog. Yeah. You killed your dog also in the first
round. And
I
didn't mean to. I was like, oh, it's dead.
So the point of this room is like you get sort of like 3 sort of rounds to do it, right? Yeah. Or 4. And so we were trying to do it in 3 because the more dogs you kill earlier on, the less time you have to complete the actual room. So we were trying to do it in like 3. But we ended up doing it. I think the final round we did it in 2, right? So that was pretty cool. Because we'd gotten so high of a buff in 8, like the first time when we almost got to 80. So like Griffin had one-shotted, you'd killed yours, and I think a third one was.
I think Nick killed his on accident.
Yeah, and mine was like pretty close, and then we did it all over again, and it was one of those things where it was like we were in the last seconds. Yeah, and it was like I think Griffin like had a Nighthawk that killed like the last one.
Alex killed his real quick. Yours died real quick, and then we had the one left, and I think we only had like a buff of 12 at that point.
Yeah, we had a really small buff, and we were just like, fuck it, let's just try it.
And like we're all going to town on him, and and everyone's like, we're not gonna kill him, and like Alex shot his bow. And then that gave Griffin a special, and Griffin Nighthawked it, and it brought him down to like half his health, and we just like, we're gonna do this, just kill him, get him, and like we hit him with everything we had, and like at the last second, like we killed him. We're like, yeah.
And it was like one of that room again was just so like it was like a cool like sort of just team effort, and it was like one of those experiences. Like, holy shit, that was another moment where we paused and we're like, I was just like, damn, this is really fucking awesome. Yeah. And then we went and did non-raid stuff in the raid and tried to look for treasures. That was really confusing for a bit. And we were there for a while.
It was late, and I was like, I don't want to search for
And then by the time we got to the gauntlet, I think we were all sort of off and tired. Yeah. And so, because everybody was saying, like you were saying, like the gauntlet's like easy, and we can get through it, and then we'll get to the boss. But I feel like the gauntlet took us longer than it should have, just because I think at that point we were just like starting to get brain dead, and like Nick Cascarella, our boy, is on the East Coast. Yeah. It was like already super late.
It's like 2 in the morning at that time for him.
And again, I'm so sorry, Nick. Yeah. And so, but the gauntlet was really fun, and that was like. That was also like a really cool one where it was like, how the fuck did people figure this out? You know? So
and that was the same as people were like, who wants to be the runner? I was like, I'm gonna nominate Barrett because I want him to. I think he'll be fine at it. Like
like I didn't have to worry about like killing people while also shooting these arrows and stuff. And also like hunters are faster, and I had a pretty high mobility, so I was able to get through them pretty easily. And so it took us a little longer, and I feel like that one was actually pretty easy to understand. Yeah. And then we got to the final boss, and I think by the time we got to the boss, what's his name?
Callus.
Callus. Yeah. I think that was like the time where we were all starting to get like, oh fuck, and we were making like
It was just
little dumb mistakes.
And we were all learning it, and we were all tired, and we were all making dumb mistakes. And we had that one good run where we actually did damage, and then we realized like, oh, we're not doing enough damage.
Yeah. And so it's like, oh man, like let's just save this for tomorrow. So that's why this episode is going to be a little shorter than usual, just because we're going to try to beat. We're going to try to beat that boss. Right? We're trying to beat Sean Pitts at this fucking raid today, boys.
So we can brag about it when he gets home tonight.
It's like this raid. Like, I was having so much fun with Destiny before this, right? I was like, oh, this like feels way better than 1. Like, in 1, the only 2 hours I played was patrolling, and I was like, damn, this game sucks.
Yeah.
And then I played this, and I was like, oh, this is like so much better. And now that I've gotten here, it's like, holy crap, I can't believe like the design, the sort of level design that like when this isn't like, again, I don't think about level design that much except for Dishonored, and now like for these raids. It's like really fascinating. So as my first one, like I'm really enjoying it so far. Like there were highs, there were lows. But so far I'm enjoying it, and I'm feeling good about it. I think especially for this week for you is like having me and Andy here all in the same house. And we're like, let's get together, boys. And we're like you, me, and Andy were like the fire team this week, and we were helping each other level up and all this stuff. And then Andy couldn't fucking raid. Come on, Andy. He was Griffin. Griffin was also helping us through trials and all that stuff, and but like he was helping us level up. And
can we talk about trials real quick?
So we tried to do trials with it was Griffin, Andy, myself, and Danny, and that was real bad.
Yeah.
We won one round.
We won our first round, and we were like, we're gonna do it, boys, and then we lost every round after that.
It was so bad, and so I'm never doing trials again. I'm just saying, I'm not good.
My favorite part, Kevin said, I can get you guys flawless. It's just gonna be one at a time.
So yeah, trials was real hard. So that was sort of my perspective of the raid. How do you feel about it as someone who's known Destiny for
me? It's like I love that it's it really takes a lot of communication, and I love the design, and I love that it actually takes way more teamwork because when the raids in Destiny 1 first come out, people are like, oh, let's team together. And then like within a couple days, people are like, oh, you can 3-man it, or you can solo it, or you can just do it like as fire team of 4 people. And
dude, you can half-man it. Okay.
Well, yeah. And then people learned like the cheeses. Like I'm gonna be like the first minute when Crota first came out, we learned about the cheese of if you're fire team leader, when Crota comes to the damage step, you just unplug your Ethernet cord. Like you have to have a hard plug-in, unplug it. He freezes and stays in place and doesn't move. And then you wait for the other person to come back, and then you can just damage him and kill him right there. And it was just like
interesting.
That was a cheese because no one knew how to kill him. So it was like, oh, let's just use the cheese. And then in Vogue, like when you get to Atheon, the Solar Warlock could do his melee would push things. So you would throw a fusion grenade, which would like knock him back, and you'd melee him off the stage.
I'm sorry, who the hell figured out the Ethernet cord thing? What the fuck?
I don't know. Yeah. And so like
that's crazy.
Yeah. So like I was like, man, I don't like doing these raids or like even there were parts in Crota where it's like you can fake kill your the Solar Warlocks used to have a res. So like if you died and you had your special, you could resurrect yourself. So like you would do this thing where you try to activate this bridge, but instead of doing that, everybody would wipe, and then the Warlock would res itself, and the bridge would build, and you guys just go across. So you didn't even have to do the mechanic of that fight as a team. And so everyone did that because like, oh, it takes more time if we try to do it as an actual raid.
Yeah.
So I like that this was like, no, you have to be a team. You literally can't do this by yourself or with like a fire team less than
they're like every single room has been like you have one guy on this wall that has to tell someone else like what this symbol is, or like what circle you have to, like what arrows you have to shoot and stuff. Like even the final boss was like cool. Like going through it was like definitely like okay, all right, but it was like we had to be in the weird world with the big guy's face, and like we had to.
Well, it was like each 3 inside here, 3 on the outside.
Yeah, and like each of us see a different symbol, and we have to read off like which symbol we each see, and then the 4th one is the one they have to shoot in the other room and stuff. And it was like. It was so cool of like seeing like how much thought they put into like making sure it was about teamwork.
So I appreciate that Bungie's like finally like we have kind of crafted the right raid that we want you guys to get, and I like that because raids before this every part had a boss, and so there's always 3 or 2 bosses before you get to the main bad guy. And this one there's no bosses. I mean, unless you count the dogs as bosses, but they're really not because they don't do damage to you. So like. every room was just like, here's a puzzle and a mechanic you have to figure out as a team, and then like get to the boss. So I love that it's just one main guy. Everything else is just a mechanic and a puzzle that you have to figure out as a team and work together. And I think like last night we had a solid raid team. No one got mad at each other. No one got frustrated. No one got upset with one another. Because there have been times where me and Griffin have done raids with people where
Griffin got upset before the raid. I would say, but not even because of the raid, but because of like Warlock and like talking about supers and all that stuff. He was getting frustrated. He was a frustrated boy.
It was Titans, and he was saying like my nephew was like, oh, I like using the numbers, like, use Striker, please.
He was so frustrated. It was like, oh, I was like worried for it. I was like, oh man, is this gonna be a good fight? But then like the rest of the night, it was like we were doing pretty solid, and it was like so yeah, I felt good about the raid. I'm feeling good about going to the boss. I'm excited
to beat the boss today. I think we can do it. Especially because now we have rest and we can think a little bit better.
And like now we have food in our systems and stuff. Like we were playing at 2 a.m. with like really tired, playing this for 7 hours in a row, and like Griffin and I both got hungry again. But like by that time, all the food was closed. All of the food, not the restaurants. All of the food was closed. And so it's just like. It was just a bad situation. We just needed it. We needed to take a break. And now we're coming back.
And I'm excited. I'm excited to see you complete your first raid. Like how you feel about it afterwards.
And then I'll never play Destiny 2 ever again.
I know. I'm like that's the thing is like I think I'm gonna.
I'll come back.
It's a game I'll come back once. When people are like, oh, can you want to do the raid? Like I'll do the weekly raid at Nightfall and all that stuff.
But it's just like I gotta play Dishonored. I gotta beat Mario plus Rabbids. I gotta beat Persona fucking 5.
So do I.
So it's just like there's so many things where it's just like it's just too much. I can't be staying up till 3 a.m. 3 nights in a row again to just keep playing this game.
Like here's the thing, I want to complete it tonight, and then if Andy needs to go through the raid, I'll do the raid with him, and even if Greg needs to go through it, like those are the two people I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll go through it again for you this week, or something like that.
But anyway, the Destiny 2 raid, pretty legit.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
Solid 9.5.
Now this is the part of the show where we usually take viewer questions, but we want this to be a more shorter episode, so no viewer questions this week. But you can usually tweet questions at myself, at BananaLechong, or at Sean, who's usually on the show, at Sean Twisters. Sean will be back next episode, so he can talk about Destiny 2 and all of his feelings. And he's the one who like knows way more. I'm just the guy who's like, yeah, it's cool.
Oh yeah, but you can put in his face that you beat the raid for him.
So thank you guys so much for joining us this week. So this is going to be the end of the show. Danny, thank you so much for joining me.
Dude,
where can people find you on the internet?
You literally can just find me at StokedDanny, 2 D's in it. Over on Twitter and Instagram, Snapchat, that whole thing.
Yeah, I'm excited for you guys to be out here, get to see your beautiful boy face again, and I guess to see Griffin.
And then we're excited. Me and Griffin, we're gonna move out here. We're playing. He's gonna bring his PC, and we're gonna buy gear, and he wants.
You guys are gonna stream all the time,
possibly.
Some Dota.
Oh, dude, League of Legends.
Some
Griffin
WoW.
Griffin has spent over like $1,000 on League of Legends. He has all the skins. Boy. Yeah, but he doesn't play anymore. Anyways. But no, we're planning to build like a studio in one of the rooms, so we'll probably like I want to do something, and now that I'm here, I want to get in the industry since I'm here, and it's easier because I live here now. But I need to start doing something to show like I can do this. I have the work. I have like a portfolio and stuff like that.
Yeah. I believe in you. I believe in Griffin. And I believe in Alyssa for being a good teacher, first grade teacher. There we go.
She's the best.
Thank you guys so much for joining us this week. Remember, this is Zero Life, a weekly podcast where we talk about nerdy culture, pop culture, and all that good stuff every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time right here on youtube.com/ZeroLife and SoundCloud.com/ZeroLifeShow and iTunes and all that good stuff except Spotify. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you, Danny, again, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I love you. Thank you for taking care of me this week.
Remember, you can reach Danny at StokedDanny. You can find me at BananaLechong on Twitter and Instagram and all that good stuff. And until next time, hit the music.